What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today, once again, we're going to be going over the latest Destiny news and announcements from Bungie about Age of Triumph. They put up another blog post which has quite a lot of interesting details in it, definitely worth paying attention to, and of course I'll be summarizing it all in this video for you guys. So they mentioned that next week they're of course hosting what they call a Guardian Fashion Show, which is actually the last reveal stream for the event. If you remember the April update, when in the Reef they literally set up a load of characters with all the new armor and showed them off one by one, so expect something similar. Indeed said it could very well be that they'll save the best armor in Destiny 1 for last, so the team is definitely excited to unveil the new ornaments for your Guardian. So I'm definitely expecting some really cool looking gear. We've already seen the Hunter with that Vex prosthetic leg, so I'm really looking forward to see what the Titan and Warlock have for gear. He then also said that we've got some explaining to do about those elemental primaries that are staged to make a comeback. So once again, this is going to be when they go to explain how the elemental primaries will actually make a return. As I said before, there is going to be some kind of compromise. They aren't simply going to add them into the game. They are talking about needing to make some kind of balance so they aren't the most dominant weapons in the game anymore, like Year 1. So don't simply expect a Year 3 Fatebringer to just drop into the game with Arc Burn. They're going to make some kind of temporary burn or something to earn for it, or maybe remove some of the other perks or nerf the gun in general. So be prepared for some kind of catch, because it's what Bungie have been alluding to this whole time with elemental primaries. But even if there is some kind of catch, at least they're still returning, which is definitely really good news. So next up, we're going to be talking about the actual Crucible changes, and they've basically overhauled the entire playlist system and definitely whittled them down a lot, which is actually very, very interesting and also pretty good news as well. So they said, as we arrive at Age of Triumph, we're going to be looking to make some changes to the Crucible to improve matchmaking quality and allow more flexibility for how you earn rewards. The number of active Crucible playlists are being reduced to help draw Guardians into a more focused set of battlegrounds. So as you can see from this screenshot, this is what the actual director screen is going to look like. There's going to be 5 core nodes in the middle and 1 repeat rotating node on the top, with of course private matches on the bottom obviously. So the classic plays are going to be gone. The 3 ones at the bottom for 6v6, 3v3 and Rumble, those aren't going to be there anymore. If you don't own Rise of Iron, now you can actually play the weekly featured playlist, which can be Zone Control, Combined Arms, Mayhem Clash, Mayhem Rumble, or the doubles modes. And then when Trials goes live on the weekend, it's of course going to replace the Elimination node in the middle like it normally does. So Bungie said their reason for this is to continue featuring all the most popular core modes, while also keeping the matchmaking pools as full as possible to facilitate matchmaking quality. So this actually is a very, very good thing for Crucible, if you're wondering what the point of this is or why it matters. So essentially, the amount of playlists that there were before was actually pretty ridiculous, and there were so many choices that it basically divides the player base across all these different nodes, and it also reduced the quality of games. So there's going to be a lot more players in each of those nodes, meaning better connections, because there are more people for the matchmaking to choose from, and also skill-based matchmaking isn't going to be as harsh, because again, there are more people to choose from, so a wider choice of skill and also a wider choice of connections, and this is all pretty much a good thing. And you also need to think when Destiny 2 drops, of course, the amount of people playing Destiny 1 is going to be significantly reduced. So they need to kind of round off the game more and make it a bit more streamlined for the remaining people still playing at Destiny 1. So on top of that, they've also done quite a lot of interesting and very cool changes to the bounty system. So Lord Shaxx is going to continue to offer his weekly bounties and will now offer one for each of the 6v6 core modes offered each week. The daily Crucible bounties have also been updated to be more inclusive of Guardians regardless of what mode they play and which subclass they favor, or if they have a fire team available. And now the next thing is probably the most interesting part, and that is that they've returned the Crucible Quartermaster bounties, those weapon bounties that used to be offered back in Year 2. Not sure why they took them out in the first place, but they're actually back to offer more XP. But also on top of that, they're going to give you an opportunity to earn a variety of Crucible, Iron Banner, and Trials of Osiris weapons from Year 2 and Year 3. So a lot of those cool Year 2 weapons from Iron Banner even, and Trials you can now be able to get in normal bounties from the Crucible Quartermaster, which is actually really cool. So like Nerwin's Mercy, Colavance's Duty, or Finala's Peril, a very good hand cannon. Those will all be dropping from those bounties from the Crucible Quartermaster. I really wish those Year 1 Iron Banner and Trials weapons could return. I've been wishing that for a long time. I hope they do return, because there's so many cool guns out there. But for now, it's just Year 2 and 3 weapons, so you don't even have to play those activities. You can literally play normal Crucible and eventually get Blind Perdition or like a Clever Dragon, which is pretty funny. And they also confirmed there is a hand cannon bounty that can reward an Ice Luna. They've also updated the Trials of Osiris bounties, and all of them are now going to be able to be completed every single day while Trials is active. Silver and gold bounties will now feature gear and weapons from Year 3, so yet another chance for more of that Trials gear. Obviously, it won't be the flawless stuff, the gold weapons with Snapshot. It'll be your normal blue ones without, but once again, even more chances for some of that Trials gear. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of your thoughts on the changes to bounties and the playlists. They also stressed how much more generous this update is going to make the game a reward system in general. Kind of weird how much they mention it, because I'd say the game is definitely very generous right now. But I guess it's aimed more towards the Year 1 content, because the loot systems in those were absolutely brutal. Like the Fatebringer back in the day was so very, very rare. If they didn't change anything, it might have taken you months to finally get the weapon. It was pretty common back in Year 1 to go through an entire Vault of Glass raid and not get a single item other than Ascendant Shards and Energy. So thankfully it's going to be a change, and it's going to be looking like it's the same level as the Wrath of the Machine raids in terms of reward drops. So after that, they went on to answer some of the commonly asked questions about Age of Triumph and clarified some of the things mentioned in stream. So the story mission players is not going to have matchmaking, and the recommended light level is going to be 380, so pretty high actually. And the playlists are as follows: Earth and Moon is going to be missions from Vanilla Destiny, also Mars and Venus is the same. The Dark Champions playlist is going to be Dark Below and House of Walls missions, the DLC 1 and 2. The Taken War is going to be Taken King, and Iron Lords is going to be from Rise of Iron, and they're going to award 100 legendary marks, a treasure of the ages, and some materials. And they also clarified that the Nightfall buff does still give the Radiant Light XP bonus, so it's not just the blue flames on your head, it's also the bonus XP for the rest of the week on that character. So that is a roundup of all the latest news and announcements from Bungie in regards to Age of Triumph. Of course, that third and final reveal stream is going on next Wednesday, and I think it's probably going to be the best out of the three, so stay tuned right here. I'll have a summary, of course, as usual. So if you enjoyed this video, a like rating would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.